All right, let's keep it going for Oscar. Oscar, more for Oscar. He needs it. All right, this is it.
I worked at Universal Studios Hollywood, the theme park. I worked at the Waterworld show as a pyro loader, and it sounds like an exciting job. It was actually pretty boring. We just dealt with explosives all day. If you haven't been to the Waterworld show, the set is basically just a bunch of towers, metal towers that people get set on fire and jump off during the show. And there's a pool that they jump into at the bottom. That's why they're on fire. They can put themselves out. In the middle of the set, in the middle of this peninsula, there was the tallest high dive west of the Mississippi. At the very top of that was the most dangerous pyro piece in the entire park. First of all, because this piece was designed to set somebody on fire. The actor would put a cape full of gasoline on, basically, and he would bend over, get caught on fire. Not bend, bend toward the thing and get caught on fire. Then he'd jump off this thing and land in the water, jump off the platform and land in the water. And the reason it was so dangerous, not only because it set you on fire, was that the safest way to load the piece was to put on a safety harness and climb over a railing, because the piece was about crotch height, so you couldn't sit there because it would burn your special area. And so that was the safest way to do it, is to climb over the railing. But the thing was, nobody ever wore the safety harness, because why would you wear a safety harness? That makes no difference. People would just crawl over that thing. And so one day we were doing a show, and this was maybe our 5th or 6th show of the day, 12 hours. I was climbing up the ladder to load this piece when I heard a call on the headset that there was an accident, and to everyone stop loading because there was nobody to watch you if something happened to you. And like I said, it's been 12 hours, 5 or 6 shows. I'm exhausted. I'm already at the top of this thing. I'm in better shape, but I'm still a fat guy. I'll be honest with you. And I'm like, well, I've loaded this piece a dozen times. What's the worst that's going to happen if I load this piece? Which is always something you want to say when you're handling explosives, by the way. So I go over there. I climb over the metal railing on a set called Waterworld. There's a lot of water. I step over, and I load the piece, and as I'm coming back over, I slip because there's water on the set of Waterworld. And as I'm falling, I hit my knee on the railing in a very bad spot. I scream, and I grab onto the railing with my hands. And again, I'm in much better shape now. I'm in still terrible shape, but I'm in better shape. And I have my hands on there, and I realize I'm completely fucked, because I'm gonna fall. And people say, well, you're over water, because they tell the story, and they're going over water, and they're like, why don't you just let go? Well, the thing was, I wasn't really technically over water. I was over the set, kind of. So I wasn't sure if I let go, I was gonna hit water, because I could have hit some set pieces, and it would have been the saddest Plinko game ever. Second, I was wearing steel-toe boots, so even if I fell in the water, they would drag me down, right? And thirdly, if I did let go, and I did hit water, and I did take off my boots, and I wasn't too exhausted to swim, I couldn't swim. Because when they hired me and they said, hey, if you can swim, we'll pay you an extra $1.50 to work at Waterworld, I said, fuck yeah, I'm like Aquaman. So I'm just holding on there, and I've come close to dying a few times, but I realized this was probably it. Nobody saw me fall, and nobody was going to come to my rescue, and I was hanging on literally for dear life, and I started thinking about all the mistakes I did, and like doing this without any safety harness, and I started thinking about my ex Rebecca and how I fucked it up with her. And then I realized that it didn't matter, and I was going to let go because I wanted to die on my own terms. And I closed my eyes and I prayed for the third time in my life. And as I was letting go, all of a sudden I felt these hands grab me. What had happened was that there were stagehands who were too drunk to work on set that day, that's a job, saw me fall, and they ran from the front of the house all the way around because they knew nobody was watching, climbed up the ladder, and right as I let go, they grabbed me and pulled me back up. And they saved my life because I looked over and I realized I was going to hit the set if I let go. And as I was laying there and those two guys were huffing and puffing, one of us was crying. I said, thank you.